Callaway are claiming their brand new Elyte irons are going to give you elite feel, elite forgiveness, and elite speed. But is that true? Well, me and Lewis are going to put it through the ringer, and we're going to test all three of those categories to see if that is true.
And not only that, stick around to the end, we're going to see how they get on compared to last year's AI Smoke model.
Okay, so before we go into speed, feel, and forgiveness, we're going to talk about the looks. Now, as far as looks go, I think these look incredible, especially for a game improvement iron and a player's distance iron, wouldn't you agree?
Well, firstly, they're really shiny, which is always nice, but certainly behind the ball, don't like to see too much offset, and this didn't have that, and we'll get into that later, but shelf appeal-wise, like you can see for yourself, these are really, really nice.
And I think that's where Callaway have ticked a massive box, is they've kind of stripped it back, gone for that kind of classic look, and it really does just kind of catch your eye as well. It's just a really good-looking iron. And on that note, we're going to see how these feel. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to dive into sound and feel. Is it elite in feel? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we?
Let's hope so.
So I've got the X in my hand. Lewis has obviously got just the Elyte, which is the player's distance model. Mine's more of a game improvement model, so it's a little bit larger in shape. So yeah, let's give it
yeah, let's hit it
and see how we go. For a game improvement iron, the offset isn't too big, which is quite nice. And it goes very straight. For a hollow body iron, it's not like soft and like that. It's like got a nice firm feel. You can hear it. It sounds so crisp when you hear it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Big fan of that, especially for a game improvement iron. Just like dead easy to get in the air. Feels great off the face.
Player's distance iron. I think this is in the wrong hands. There's no players yet. Need distance right enough though, so.
So in terms of the way that looks over the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it there, like offset. That's one thing I don't like to see in irons. There's a lot of offset, and this does not have that at all.
Yeah.
Like I've got some Apex Pros in the bag, and this does not look wildly different from that, which is a good thing. So we like the way they look. And then top line as well. Don't want to see anything too massive. And there's one thing you can see, like when you look at it from here, it looks fairly. Not chunky, but there's a lot of help in the bottom of the club. But when it's behind the ball, there's no kind of sense that you've got something massive behind it, which is definitely a positive. All right, so it wasn't the best strike, a little bit heavy maybe, but I know what you mean. It's a responsive feel, but it's definitely not clunky, that's for sure.
No, it's not. It's quite crisp, and I think
crisp is the word. Yeah.
No matter where you're going to hit it in the club face, like you're still going to get like great feedback, and I think that's quite a key word. Now we're going to check out the elite forgiveness of the Elyte iron. Now we're going to hit a couple shots each, and then we're going to check it on the TrackMan, looking at the kind of heat map to see just how forgiving it is across the face, and obviously we'll look at the kind of shot direction and dispersion as well. So I'm going to hit the X, Lewis is going to hit the Elyte in the player's distance iron, and let's just see how forgiving these are. This is a kind of representation of the forgiveness. Now, I would say dispersion-wise, they're pretty good, but where I kind of have hit it across the club face is what makes it even more impressive. Yes, the distance and kind of correlation to where they're landing is, the grouping's very good, but if we just kind of go through, obviously that kind of first one's like obviously right out the middle, but as we go through the shots, you can kind of see, it's a little bit closer to the heel, and then you kind of more close to kind of high toe, and then a little bit lower in the toe, shall we say, just below center. It's more kind of middle to toe. And then that last one is, again, a little bit more central. So it just shows you that the consistency and dispersion, whilst I'm still hitting it across the face in the brand new Callaway Elyte iron in the X, very, very forgiving.
Similar to James, I mean, hit 6 shots, clearly not going to hit it as far as him, but dispersion is what I'm worried about. Play off 4 and with a 7 iron in hand, want to be hitting as many greens as I can. You'll see strikes down the bottom there, a little bit higher in the face, which I'm not surprised by as my tendency, and then maybe a little bit towards the heel, but none of these shots are offensive at all. In terms of distance, I'm happy with carry-wise. You can get a little one that's a bit further left, which was a pretty poor strike. Yeah, it just shows, like James was saying, that forgiveness is so important with these clubs. If you're getting these, you want something that is going to help you hit more greens. Hopefully that's going to do it for you.
All right, so it's time to test the speed in the Elyte irons, but what we're going to do is we're going to put the AI smoke up against them just to see how fast the ball speeds are in comparison. So got a 7 iron here, we're going to give it a hit. Lewis is going to hit some, I'm going to hit some, and we're going to put those numbers up against the Elyte irons, which we've already hit. All right, so how did the Callaway Paradigm irons compare to the brand new Callaway Elyte irons? Was there Elyte speed, Lewis Fraser?
Well, so I've got my AI smoke numbers at the top, Elyte numbers down the bottom. Firstly, speed, just say it, no difference.
Yeah.
Look, not anything noticeable, 0.2 either way. That's not going to make a difference out in the golf course, but where there is a difference is in spin rate. So getting around 800 RPM more with the Elyte irons, and personally that's what I want to see. It's going to give more control into greens and par threes and par fours.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. Look, the AI smoke might go 5 yards further, roughly, carry. But if I'm going to be able to stop the ball on the green, that's what I want. That's what it's all about. Control, right?
Yeah, and I think we can both agree on, you know, like there wasn't too much difference, obviously, like in speed. Like I was 147, 146, so it was like half a mile an hour. But yeah, the main difference was obviously, you know, spin. You can see less spin with AI smoke, more spin with the Elyte, but that's going to give you the more consistency. But not only that, the forgiveness and dispersion, it was the big thing I took from it. You know, you can get those jumpers with the AI smoke that go that little bit further, but the one thing that the Elyte has is just great consistency. Lewis, you can see your kind of shots right here are obviously pretty tight, and you know, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 like on top of each other. You got maybe 1 or 2 that have just kind of taken you a little bit left. I was really very, very tight with that 7 iron, and then a little bit kind of like further, but a little bit more all over the place. The forgiveness in the new AI 10X Smart Face was fantastic, very consistent. But not only that, that brand new tri-sole, if you do kind of catch it a little bit heavy or a little bit fat, you will see, you know, you're going to make good contact. Now, not only that, the speed frame is very impressive. It's had that kind of redefined and improved finish to it, obviously sitting in between the hollow body of both irons, supporting the face when flexing, giving you great speed and distance, even on those mishits, which is what we've seen today. I mean, the dispersion and the consistency speaks for itself. And if you are a higher handicap looking for something forgiving, consistent, that's going to give you pretty much the help that you need around the course, the X is a fantastic iron. I mean, I know I'm a faster club head speed, but the forgiveness in it is absolutely superb. The player's distance iron, which Lewis is obviously hitting today, the Elyte is, again, very consistent, very impressive, and also forgiving too.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think this is going to cater to a really wide range of players. I'm someone who's single-figure handicap, and I wouldn't be against putting this in the bag because you are getting control with it. But again, like you can see, you've spoken about the tech there. If you're someone who's not hitting the centre of the face every time or a lot of the time, it's still going to help you out quite a bit.
And on that note, we have loads of videos coming out this January with the new launches of all the new product coming out, which we will be covering. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to the channel. I've been James from Bunkered.
I've been Lewis from Bunkered.
We'll see you next time.